Hello everyone, welcome to an analysis of dance, where we discuss the movements and debuts of the Billboard Hot Dance charts in immaculate detail, with in-depth reviews of each debut each week. And just like that, we're back to the dead weeks, although this one unfortunately wasn't all that interesting either. I mean, not only do a lot of the debuts not really inspire a lot of interest out of me outside of the big one that we'll get to, the movements are really showing some worrying signs coming into 2024, and while I seriously don't expect a lot of these to actually stick around come next week, yeah, this was a bit of a worrying week, and even if it wasn't bad, it wasn't great either, just saying. And the case in point is I'm Good Blue by David Guetta and BB Rexa at number 1, although with all the songs that are rising beneath it, this song has the potential to actually get knocked out soon. I mean, it's losing across the board, especially on streaming, and even if radio is really holding on to this far longer than it should, it's still on the downswing there, and again, when anything with actual momentum comes along, this is going to fall off number 1. And there are some signs of that coming, starting with Rush by Troye Sivan at number 2, which absolutely surged on streaming, even with that remix with Hyunjin and Pink Pantheress. I don't think it was entirely because of that. This song's just building up so much momentum now, and honestly, given how it overtook a lot of songs this week, I'm not expecting it to really hit the whole 100 again, but it still could make a run. And thankfully, as a result, this finally knocked down Baby Don't Hurt Me by David Guetta, Anne Marie, and Coil Ray down to number 3. But with radio throwing this out really fast and streaming always being pretty poor with this, it was gonna happen anyways, and thank God that it didn't become a number 1 hit. This song is fucking garbage. Hell, Rush's Boost actually managed to knock down I Love You Ho by Odetari and 9 Lives down to number 4, but really when streaming is the only thing that's keeping this afloat and it's not really getting much there to begin with, yeah, this wasn't really gonna get much higher there. But then we have a song that debuted in the top 5 this week that I assure you is gonna be an absolutely big hit in the next coming weeks. Debuting at number 5, Strangers by Kenya Grace. Now, it's awesome that this is a brand new song debuting this high. We haven't really seen that whole lot this year, and with this particular song being from a no-name female producer and self-made, it's really showing some promise going into 2024, but Sony really did the strategy well with this. The streaming and sales are absolutely huge, and given the sound of this song, I can see radio really getting on board with this, meaning that this is going to surge up in the next few weeks and hopefully actually be a contender against I'm Good for that number 1 spot. I mean, I'm not complaining, especially when we get to the song later on. But with that song debuting as high as it did, that meant that the majority of the top 10 just got knocked down a spot. With It Goes Like Na 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 by Peggy Go down to number 6 off its huge streaming and some decent radio growth. Same deal with GMFU by Odetari and Barely Human at number 7, and El Merengue by Marshmello and Memo Torizo at number 8. Then there's Padam Padam by Kylie Minogue down to number 9, which even with a boost on pop airplay and residual streaming from the new single, didn't really go anywhere. Kind of telling there, and also really good, I'm not complaining. And finally, we have Back on 74 by Jungle at number 10. And given that the sales are really huge on this one and streaming is only getting on board, yeah, this is still gonna stick around and hopefully it actually continues to go up. It's a fucking great song. But where unfortunately some songs didn't hold on was in our falls and fall-offs, and yeah, this was a painful list. I mean, Esta Vida by Marshmello and Faruko is gone, and I'm honestly not complaining, even though it has clinched its year-end list spots. But the two bigger dropouts were Miracle by Calvin Harris and Ellie Goulding and Where You Are by John Summit and Hayla, also known as the 2 best songs on this chart. So yeah, not a win. Our falls were also a really huge mixed bag. Yes, I'm not complaining that Choose Your Fighter by Ava Max is continuing to go absolutely nowhere at 19. Same deal with the Provenza remix by Karol G and Tiesto down to 27, but it also came with One in a Million by BB Rexa and David Guetta at 28, and most painfully for me, Fade Out by John Summer featuring MKLA down hard to 50. I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be a hit, but still, that's a real damn shame. It should have stuck around at least a little bit higher. But folks, what's truly awful came in our jumps and comebacks. Not only for our one comeback being Mind Your Business by will.i.am and Britney Spears at 33, although it's only here because of the David Guetta remix, so I don't expect it to last, thank God. When you get to our gains, oh my god, these are both atrocious. I mean, Ecstasy by Suicidal Idol is the least bad of these, up to 29, and given how slowly it's rising, I don't expect it to really have a chance of making the year unless it might actually get caught between years, and that's only a good thing for me. But the most painful jump came with Lovely Bastards by Zweihander and Yatasha Gang all the way up to 11. Are you fucking kidding me here? I mean, I get that it's got a full tracking week and actually has got some momentum behind it on streaming, but given that it's fallen off on the UK singles chart, I don't expect it to last coming into next week, or at least like goddamn hope. So we don't need that song making a late run into the year-end list. It's absolute fucking garbage. But onto a list of new debuts that didn't really inspire a whole lot out of me, although starting off interestingly with number 41, Fashion by Britney Manson. Okay, this one was at least a little bit intriguing to me. Britney Manson is a transgender model and singer who's really been blowing up off of TikTok as of recently. However, this particular song is really her only notable piece of work outside of her TikTok, and really it doesn't surprise me given that this is an imitation of Britney Spears' sound from the late 2000s. Now look, I'm not really the biggest Britney Spears fans of the best of times, even in her classic Baby One More Time era, so I wasn't really expecting a whole lot out of this, but honestly, it's not bad. I mean, I will say I do like the production with that intense bass heavy house beats and the really dark sounding synths that float out into a really cavernous mix. It really does sound great. And the hook here is really damn good and really does feel elevated with the context of Britney Manson being transgender and this being a really big self-empowerment moment for her. It's honestly a really nice sound. If anything, the main detractor here might actually be Britney Manson herself. She's got a decent voice, but the vocal effects just really make her sound robotic as all hell, and while it does work for this sort of production, it's not a particularly nice sounding vocal, and given that this could have really soared if she went for an archer approach and went all out on the vocal effects instead of just playing it as half-assed and robotic as she does, yeah, it does take away from the song quite a bit for me. But otherwise, yeah, this is fine. It's a really intriguing little curiosity. Honestly, I'm surprised it was able to cross over at all. I mean, I don't expect it to stick around, but hey, if it does, I wouldn't really be arguing. It's a good song. Number 18, Tension by Kylie Minogue.
Right there, don't be shy, boy, I don't bite. You know where, touch me right there, touch. Oh my god, touch me right there. Almost there, touch me right there. Don't be shy, boy, I don't bite. You know where, touch me right there, touch.
Okay, I am very worried about this Kylie Minogue album, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Padam Padam has only gotten worse since I've hearing it. It's a front contender for one of the worst hit songs of this entire damn year, and the fact that it's sticking around and becoming her biggest song on this chart is goddamn painful for me. So when I was hearing that the buzz for this song was way less positive, I had rock bottom expectations, and okay, I'm gonna say this, it did take a while for me to really understand this one. I mean, at first, I hated this one. The production was really getting on my nerves, and especially those vocals are still absolutely fucking awful, and really did not work for me whatsoever. But nowadays, okay, let me just get the problems out of the way. Again, the vocal mixing is flat garbage. I don't know who's producing for Kylie Minogue nowadays, but this mix sounds fucking dreadful, especially with the vocals sounding so robotic and intentionally clipping the mix, especially on that hook where they just sound flat as all hell. I mean, on the first few listens, I could honestly say that I hated this more than Padam Padam. But honestly, in recent times, this one's actually grown on me a fair bit. I mean, the production builds well with that piano into the smoother house beats, and even if the vocal mixing is absolutely god-awful, it actually kind of works for the sleazy sex vibes of this particular song. It's a case of bad mixing actually elevating a song pretty damn well for me. And really, if Kylie Minogue taps into this and actually manages to make the vocals sound better next time, I could honestly see some deep cuts from Tension actually working for me. I think it works especially given that Kylie Minogue is over 50 years old, and this sort of sleazy sex vibes is something that she can't really sell at all, but it also makes for a charming song and just how stupid it is. She's clearly playing into the ridiculousness of this whole concept, and I honestly can really appreciate that. I mean, it's a song that embraces how stupid it is, and while I can't really say it's all that good, for the standards of Kylie Minogue nowadays, especially after Padam Padam, I'd definitely take more of this, and honestly, it has me more intrigued on whether Tension's actually going to be bad or not. We'll have to see, but in the meantime, it's not good, but not bad either. I can at least appreciate it. Number 17, Both by Tiesto featuring 21 Savage and Bia. Tiesto's been having a great year, hasn't he? I mean, Drive has really done quite well, and a lot of the singles have really outperformed all expectations, including some loose cuts with Drifting, and I'm surprised that song is still sticking around, although I'm not complaining, it's great. This collab though, yeah, definitely did throw me off a bit. I mean, I didn't really expect Tiesto would work with 21 Savage and Bia, the latter of which is already charted here with Trampoline, and honestly has never been a particularly good rapper in my eyes, so I wasn't really sure what to expect with this new song, and is it weird to say that 21 Savage is the main reason why I don't consider this great? I mean, seriously, the production is absolutely fantastic with that really atmospheric slap house beat with some great synth production that really explodes onto the hook and just sounds terrific. It's the sort of sound where at this point, Tiesto's really starting to evolve his production quality quite a bit, and given the song's a lot more of the atmosphere that really characterized his early work and has really translated recently, although in a different genre entirely. Hell, Bia's verse was actually pretty damn solid too, where she goes for this Ice Spice sort of approach, and even if Ice Spice is honestly better in that regard, she does really flow off this production quite well and does match the vibe pretty damn good, which is a shame that 21 Savage just can't match this at all. I mean, it doesn't help that the production switches over to a trap sound for his verse and really does sound out of place, but his vocals are just not fitting over this sound whatsoever, and there's already too much bass frequencies as is, so his vocals don't really match anything else here and just kind of blend into the background for me. Hell, we already have those pitch shifted vocals on the hook that are way better. I don't get why 21 Savage needed to be on this song. So yeah, it's not actually a bad song by any means. I would honestly call it pretty damn good, but it's disappointingly let down by 21 Savage not really delivering his A game here and not being able to fit the production. Get a different rapper on board, this could have been a lot better, but still, really damn good song regardless. I like this quite a bit. And finally, number 5, Strangers by Kenya Grace. It gives me so much joy knowing that the big debut this week was this. A top 5 debut that is entirely self-produced by a female producer with no sort of massive backing behind her. I mean, it's unreal that Kenya Grace is here, given that she's actually released on labels like Anjuna before, and she hasn't really had a huge breakthrough moment yet until this song, with this being signed to the newest dance sub-label of Sony Music, so it's not honestly that surprising that it charted here. This is actually a huge deal though, given that she's the first female producer to ever debut in the top 5 of this chart. So yeah, really damn good news to begin with, and when you get to the song, it's absolutely excellent and absolutely one of the best songs that's hit the top 5 in a long time. Seriously, the fact a song like this is blowing up as much as it is goddamn great to see. The sort of liquid drum and bass production that makes for perfect driving music with those dark synths and the really gorgeous atmosphere really do shine on through here. As Kenya Grace delivers a very low-key vocal performance that reminds me a lot of Pink Pantheress. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if these two end up making a remix of this song in the future. It's an absolutely perfect vocal performance that really does fit with this vibe perfectly for me. This is the sort of song that's perfect for night driving and an easy sell for radio. I can see this being a smash hit there, and given how well it's doing around the world, that's more than likely to happen. But what really won me over with this song were the lyrics, where it's clear that Kenya Grace has some residual feelings to an ex, and even with her seeing other people, that void is just not being filled. The relationship really did mean a lot to her, and everyone else just kind of blurs together and becomes samey to her. I mean, it's the sort of song where you can very easily throw red flags on how she's acting here and how everyone seems the same to her, but if you've been in an actual relationship with genuine emotions and feelings that still linger long after the relationship is over, yeah, this song just hits for me. It really does resonate and is brutally honest and effective in that regard. This is one of the best written dance songs this entire year. I was there myself for an ex-partner a few years back, and it really does resonate with me on a personal level, and this sort of song, yeah, it really got to me. So yeah, this is one of the best hits of the year, hands down, and given that it can go to number 1 soon and really be a smash hit across 2024, we're going in for a great year going forward, and yeah, this is absolutely excellent, and I'm so happy this exists. And yeah, without question, it's the best song of this week, hands down. I mean, it didn't really have much competition, but still, it's an absolutely special song for me. Worst though, honestly, this week wasn't the worst in terms of debut quality. quality. A lot of these were actually not bad. So while I'm giving Tension by Kylie Minogue the worst of the week, it's way better than I think I really should admit. And on any other week, honestly, it would have not gone the worst of the week. It's not a bad song. Next week, expect Strangers to surge up, and outside of a few new singles from the Chainsmokers and Marshmello that are really intriguing to me, as well as the less than likely chance of getting anything from the new Chemical Brothers or Romy albums, yeah, it could be another quiet week. We'll have to see there. But yeah, that's all for this episode of an analysis of dance. See you next time.